Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be very different than the last videos I've done. It's not going to be anything makeup. It's going to be strictly a story time. And I'm going to be eating some noodles as we chit chat. So grab a snack. Go lay in your bed, get comfortable, and enjoy this story time. So, I hope all of you guys are doing well and keeping yourselves busy and healthy with your mind, body, and spirit, even though these are really hard times. I myself am struggling with certain things going on, but this has been my way of being distracted and keeping myself busy, and a way to just escape my day-to-day life. And so I thank you guys for commenting and keeping me kind of like motivated and giving me ideas on what other videos to do. And so I did promise you guys on my last video that I was going to do a story time. And so this story time it's going to be about the time that I was being followed in my car, all while having my kids in the back seat. Yeah. So like I said, grab your snack. I have my Coke and my noodles, and let's get started. Okay, so for starters, let me just tell you guys that I'm not one to eat ramen noodles. Like, there's people that can have it all the time, and I'm personally not one that eats them very often, unless I'm like hungover, and then they're delicious. But these are so good. It's these. I don't know if you guys have ever tried these, but they're so good, super spicy. And I believe I got these at Ross. And it's only because as I was checking out, my son went and grabbed them and was like, "Mommy, can we buy these?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure." And I tried them. Let me show you one more time. So good. And I love spicy, so so good. Okay, so this incident happened about 4 years ago. Okay? And a lot of the people that follow me on here, for the most part, know me from somewhere. So this specific incident happened in Silmar. So at this point in time, I was staying with my sister. I was in the middle of moving and all that, but I was staying with my sister, and I want to say it was like evening time, like 6, 7. I was on my way home to my sister's house, and I had to stop by Chase, the bank. And so if you're familiar with Silmar, it's the one by Vaughn's and Fashion Gal, and I believe the Verizon store. So anyways, so I was at Chase, and I remember that when I pulled in, I did notice a man to my right. He was parked in his car by himself, just sitting there, but didn't really think anything of it. you know. So I go to the ATM. Literally, it's seconds, you know, go in, out. When I go into my car, I make eye contact with this man. Very brief, right? Like, because he was looking at me. And so all I did was I turned around and I smiled, and that was it, you know, just like I do to anybody. So I go to reverse to get out, and as I'm going, I'm looking through my rearview mirror, and I notice that this man also pulls out and it goes to the same direction as I'm going. And I mean, for anybody watching this video, you will probably be like, I mean, he's just a man, like, calm down, like, he's just going the same direction as you, right? Like, yeah. But for some reason, when I seen that he pulled out of his parking space, I instantly had a bad feeling. I don't know why, I just did. So, but you know, I wasn't gonna, I'm like, okay, no, Erica, you're just whatever. And so I go to get out of the shopping center, and I make a right, and he gets out, and he's kind of like right behind me. So I'm like, okay, whatever, it's a coincidence, right? So now I'm on the freeway. I get on the freeway. This man gets on the freeway, and I'm telling you, I had a gut feeling. So I was like literally watching this man through my rearview mirror, like, where's this man going, you know? And so I'm driving, and he's still behind me, but I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna overthink it, just whatever. I keep driving. At this point, I'm on the 5 freeway. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, if it is that, like, what do I do, you know? And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to like try and lose this man, you know? So I speed up and I start going in front of cars, like literally switching lanes, trying to lose this man and just be on my way. When I realize that this man is speeding up to catch up to me, right? Then I'm like, okay, this is too much of a coincidence. If he's going and doing all this, it's already a little sketchy, you know? And so okay, excuse me. So at this point, I need to go onto the 170, right? I need to get on the 170. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay on the 5. And last minute, I'm going to try and confuse this man and just like last minute, just go into the 170. So in my mind, I'm like, genius. Like, yeah, you know, it's going to work. No. So last minute, I go to the 170 and he goes on to the 170. So at this point in my mind, I'm like, okay, he's up to something. And so my exit is coming up, and I'm like, okay, what do I do? And I remembered that at the exit, there was a gas station. But the thing was, like, the gas station was to my right, but I needed to make a left to go home, right? So as I'm like contemplating like what to do next, I'm on the left lane to go home. And then I'm like, okay, luckily there wasn't any cars on the right hand side close to the gas station. So I'm like, when this light turns green to make a left, I'm just going to like merge once again, get out of my lane, not merge, but get out of my lane and go into the gas station where there's people around and I know that nothing can happen. So the light turns green and I'm like, phew, like just go into the gas station, you know, thinking like maybe he'll leave me alone and whatever. No. So I go into the gas station and I pull in all the way in, right in front of the store where you go pay. And I'm watching him because the store is here and the gas pumps are like way in the back. So I can see him through my rearview mirror and I'm just watching him. So what he does is he pulls into one of the gas pumps and I'm like, is he gonna get off? Like what is he doing? So I think he tried playing it off like he was putting gas. And I don't think he had a clue that I was even paying attention to him, you know, because normally any other day I'm not that alert. I'll tell you that. But I'm telling you something about this day. I was like, okay, it's a little off. But so anyway, he gets off his car and I'm like, okay, if he is going to put gas, this is my opportunity to get the hell out of here. You know, as he puts gas. So I see him and he's getting the pump and he's doing all this. So then I'm like, I reverse and I get the hell out of there. And when I tell you that I sped out of there, I sped out of there. And with my luck, I get stuck at a red light. At this point, my heart is like beating so fast. And when I look, he's literally rushing, like putting the pump away. He gets in his car and I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna catch up to me. So I'm like, oh, what do I do? So then I'm like, you know what? If I call the cops right now, by the time they come, by the time they find me, who knows what's gonna happen, you know? So at that time, my brother also lived with us, with me and my sister. So I go to call him. I'm still at a red light. Ooh. And he doesn't answer. So I'm like, oh my God. Luckily, he called me right back. So I answer and I'm telling him like, there's this man, he's following me. I know he's following because he's been following me since Selmar. And I'm explaining to him like I went into the gas station thinking I could get away from him. And no, it didn't work. He's behind me again and I don't know what to do. So my brother's like, I'll be right there. I'm literally down the street. So I'm like, oh, thank God, you know? And so I told him, I'm not going to go home because I don't want this man to know where I live. But there is a Del Taco. Right after this light, there's a Del Taco. And I'm going to park there and I'm going to wait for you. And so I do just that, you know. I drive into the Del Taco and I pull over. And this guy had no shame. He pulls up. I pull in and he pulls up right next to me. And I'm like freaking out, but at the same time, I'm trying to stay calm because I have my children that are sleeping in the back seat. And the car I had at the time had both of the back windows tinted, like super dark. So he didn't know that I had kids in the back. He thought it was me by myself. And so he's next to me. And when I turn over, he had like the creepiest smirk on his face. And I'm like, and I'm telling him like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? And he's like, I can't hear you. Lower your window. Like he's like telling me lower your window. And I'm like, no, first of all, yeah, okay. But I'm like, no, like, what do you want? And then at that point, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to pretend like I'm calling the cops, so he can get scared, you know? And so I'm on my phone and I'm like, you know, I'm calling 911. I'm telling him, like, I'm calling the police. Leave me alone. And all these things, right? So I'm like on the phone pretending like, and he's just like, and the last thing I remember was him just getting so angry. He was like, oh, he just got so mad and literally left. He reversed, got out of there. But in my mind, I'm like, no. He's around the corner just waiting for me to get out of here. I'm not falling for that, you know? So I literally stay where I'm at. And moments after he leaves, my brother pulls in and I'm like, oh, when I tell you, I was relieved. I was so happy. I'm like, oh my God. He literally just left. I was just so shaken up because, for one, I had my kids. And secondly, like, in my mind, I'm thinking, like, what could have happened if I wasn't aware of what was going on? My gut feeling and my instinct literally saved my life. I was thinking, like, what if he would have followed me home to my sister's house? What could have happened to me? What could have happened to her? Like, till this day, I'm like, what the hell was his intention? I will never know. And it's just so scary to think that the only thing I did was smile at this man, and that was it, you know? And I'm just glad and thankful and blessed that nothing happened and that my brother got there on time. This is just a reminder, ladies, to always look at your surroundings, be aware, be alert. That's the thing, us women, like, we want, like me, I want to be, you know, damned if you do smile at a guy and you know, be polite. It's hard, you know, because if you don't, then you're like stuck up and you're this, you're that. But when things like this happen, it's so scary. But, you know, not every man is like that, you know, but sometimes you just don't know. You don't know what type of person you're dealing with, ever. So yeah, that was my story time. It was really scary. I remember it like it was yesterday. And the next time, I just know that if I feel that someone's following me, I'm going to call the cops, and that is that, you know. But yeah, I think in the beginning I was just kind of like, Erica, no, this guy's just a normal man. He's just trying to go about his day and he's going the same direction as you. It's just a coincidence, like, relax. But then after he started speeding up and catching up to me, then I was like, okay, this is really happening. But yeah, so that was my story time. And so if you guys have any more ideas on videos or would like to see maybe certain makeup looks, let me know. Maybe more chit chat while eating videos. I'm open to that, so just go in the comments and let me know what you guys would like to see on this page. So thanks guys again for watching and for keeping me distracted. It's been fun, and I'm going to continue to create more videos for you guys, so stay tuned. And yeah, thanks guys.